Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Comm Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me? Over.
Pacho, this is Comm Tower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Comm Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. I say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. All right. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pacho in the house. How's everybody's week been going? Hey, Friday night's Eve, baby Friday. Goddamn, it's almost the weekend. Hey, we got a really good show for you today. We got an amazing guest. I think this will be another really cool conversation, like we always do around this time. And let's get all the pleasantries out of the way. Hey, us as veterans, one thing that we struggle as we're transitioning out of the service. So a couple of things is, one is how to properly protect our family. We find ourselves kind of in that crossroad as to choosing different options that were provided for us while we were on active duty. And we find kind of figuring out our way as to which way to go, taking SGLI, VJ, or extending the SGLI, VJLI, so on and so forth. But we really don't know what everything entails. At the Money Pro, if it's all in the show description, they'll help you navigate through all of those things. They'll break down the language as well as how to move forward in regards to your thrift savings plan, or even how to achieve your financial goals. So if you're all open to learning a couple of more things and learning some specific, very good strategies and techniques that will help you, close the loop on all those things. And if it makes sense, hey, go on the meetthemoneypro.com. There is a video there. Watch the video. It's yours truly right there, kind of talking about it. And then we could have a 1 hour free strategy session where we can talk about certain things post-service that will help you basically kind of close the gap on that information. And it will provide a lot of ease as you're transitioning out of the service, because it's important to protect your family as well as keep going, with those services that you're no longer going to be kind of automatically provided for by the military. So go to meetthemoneypro.com and then go from there. The other thing is that if you've been struggling with putting all your, putting a claim together with the VA, now is the time to happen. There's a couple of things I talked about last week that, one, VA benefits are not going away. The Secretary of the VA, as a matter of fact, put out a video explaining everything. And if, in fact, things are looking to they're revamping everything, everything is starting to look better. So what I'm saying with that is two things. One is that no need to panic and kind of don't listen to some of the clickbait stuff that you'll see on social media out there. Go to the VA and get the information yourself. And two is that start putting a benefit. There's a lot of tools and resources out there that you can utilize right now. I've been helping several vets utilizing AI, and it's an amazing tool, and they've been getting some really good results. If you need help with that, navigating through all that, give me a shout out. We'll set up a time on my calendar, and I will point you in the right path and direction. Also, you guys, everybody here knows that I'm on social media. So those of you who are on my Facebook channel, if you, all 7,500 of you, can go on YouTube and just kind of hit the like, subscribe, and follow button, I would greatly appreciate it, as well as on Instagram and TikTok. So help your brother out, because I do this completely free. I don't charge anybody, not even my guests. I think this is a platform for all of us to share ideas and really do something that connects veterans, just like my last two guests, including the one today, have been talking about. So just help me grow and help the analytics. All right. And hey, look, if you support, just like us veterans, or that when we were in active duty, we basically defended our great American Constitution and this great nation of ours against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Like, subscribe, and follow, because we're all about freedom of speech, right to bear arms, and all the other good things that we have our rights as Americans. So if you like what you hear, again, like, subscribe, and follow. And if you don't, that's okay. It's your prerogative too. And you're right as an American, perhaps some from sitchradio.com and support your local podcast. All right. So with that being said, everybody, hey, look, this next guest of mine, it's another brother from another mother, so to speak. The guy that when we first met, it was like, when you run into a really cool, another veteran and you got kind of click. Well, that was the same thing between him, Darwin, and I. Hell, I'll even throw Christine in the mix as well. It's just really good to find, good quality people that are doing great things for the community out there. So with that being said, everybody, hey, let's welcome Mr. Tom Long to the show. What's going on, bud? How are you?
How we doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How's life been treating you?
Life is amazing. The good Lord has me on a path, and I'm doing as good as the good Lord will allow me to, brother.
Yeah, no, and it was great. I mean, you were actually, one thing is that you were here not that long ago enjoying our amazing weather. Now you're back in the cold, in the thick of things.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll deal with the cold up here in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying?
You have to get a shout out to the Eagles.
Yeah, after being down there with you in the 80 degrees, came back up here, it was 30 degrees, but now it's back up to the 60 degrees. So it's just crazy the way the weather bounces around on the East Coast, brother.
100%. Hey, dude. So I know you've done a little bit of everything. I mean, you've deployed. You've worked at Amtrak. I mean, you're like a jack of all trades. And on top of that, I mean, it's like, you work you do a lot of veteran advocacy.
Yes, sir.
EFW, DAV, Veteran Disconnect. I mean,
Yep. Yeah.
I guess let's start a little bit at the beginning, and let's take it way back. I mean, like rocking chairs.
Yeah.
Why did you join the National Guard, bro? So, and what was your experience like?
Yeah. Literally was lost in the sauce, in 2003. I wanted to originally join right out of high school, but there was a little thing called a woman that talked me out of doing that. And, eventually that disappeared and I grew up and moved on. And in 2003, I said, life isn't going in the direction that I wanted to. I went to military school, Valley Forge Military Academy when I was a kid. So, graduated from the middle school there and then moved on. But it's always been in my blood to want to go. So I joined, did it. Jumped in as a nasty girl, as everybody called me in basic training, went down there, did that, got chosen by the drill sergeants to go to airborne school, went and did airborne school, did my 5 jump chump. They tried to get me to go to RIP, and I said, I'm ripping my ass out of here. I'm gone. Been here for 22 weeks, bro. I want to go home. So came on home. Yeah, came on home, was in a Stryker unit, the only National Guard Stryker unit here out of Pennsylvania. 56 Stryker Brigade, 28th Infantry Division, 1st and 111th. That's the Ben Franklin. That's his original militia. So went to Iraq with them in 2005. Came home, did what I had to do, and then 2008 we mobilized again. And when I got done doing my military service, as you read down there, I had a choice. Really, wasn't much. Police officer or mercenary. Being a grunt, that's really all you're given if you don't take the education options that are given to you to further your education, which is something I wasn't interested in. So I went to the railroad.
Okay. Yeah, and you bring a good point. I mean, like you, I had a choice, and I did have a couple of things offered, on my plate as far as school and everything else. I just really wasn't. I'm like, okay, well, do I really want to stay here and kind of do this? And one thing I did realize is I knew that those school related activities, they were just, I would have stuck with it. At that time I wasn't ready for those things. So, my 2 best friends at the time, they joined, one of them joined the Marine Corps first. Yeah. And then the other one is like, man, why don't we just go do that? That kind of makes sense. And I mean, believe me, we questioned our decision all through boot camp. It was like, what the fuck did we do? But
So my biggest influences in my life back then when I was getting ready to join is both my brothers were service members. One was in Air Force for 19 and a half years, and the other one was in the Army. He was airborne down at Fort Benning, for 10 years. And I always looked up to my brother that was in the Army, and I said to myself, after all that happened in this country, and in 2003, I was flat skunk drunk when I walked into my recruiter's office and sat down in front of Sergeant Mickens, and he said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I want a legal means to be able to take out the people that injured this country." And I was drunk, and he's like, "I think you need to go home," because they don't recruit people that are intoxicated.
Right, yeah.
I came back 2 weeks later and started the process and went down through that process. He did the right thing as a recruiter. Didn't try to talk me out of what I wanted to do. Didn't try to talk me into what, would make him money. He focused on where I wanted to be in my heart and what I wanted to do, and did the right thing by me, making sure that it was, what I truly wanted to do and where I wanted to be. It wasn't just an impulse action. So there are some great recruiters out there.
Yeah, believe me, I walked the streets myself for about a year and some change before I got picked up for the warrant officer program. So, my counterpart on the Army side, Sergeant Mays, cool dude. He actually went to where is it at? The academy where Patton went. I always get the two confused. Anyways, I mean, this dude, pedigree. His dad was a colonel, full bird. I mean, and this kid actually was going to take a commission, but rather when he went enlisted, chose that route. He was, him and I, we used to compete with each other. Great memories with the dude, as far as so he was a solid recruit on the Army side. So, but it's not an easy job. I will tell you that it can be challenging, and you can get a lot of. I've seen a lot of good Marines go down hard because they do some dumb stuff as recruiters. I mean, it's like people lose their friggin' minds.
Well, see, the reason I say that there's some good recruiters out there, because I'll tell you, Pacho, when I was in basic training, I had guys coming in looking like Big Bird, thinking that they were going to be 18 X-ray and go full special forces because that's what the recruiter sold them on. Dude's got 22-inch feet and he's 5'8". Like you're not going in special forces, bud. Like it's just not happening. You can't even run a mile under 20 minutes. You're not getting into special forces, buddy. I'm sorry that was you're going at the discretion of the big Army, wherever they want you.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, in our office, there was the policy was no open contracts. Yeah. So find a kid a job, but no, so which was good, but. So let me ask you this, and I want be honest. Tell me, what's the one thing you don't miss about the military? Whether it's
one
MREs,
thing I don't or do?
Yeah, don't, or MREs, hurry up and wait, or mandatory fun days, or being voluntold. I mean, tell me something that you're like, if I was to go back, I would not want to be part of this.
The only thing that I would not want to do, going back, is literally the 3:30 fire shift. That's it.
Yeah,
like
fire
watch. That's it. That's like the MREs, dude. We used to literally consolidate and fight over the M&Ms, the Skittles, the Tabasco,
drug deals.
You got to make it fun. So the peanut butter, all that kind of stuff. We'd be dog piling over the stuff that we wanted and what we didn't want. That chili mac, I still dream about it.
The jalapeno cheese, that was currency. That was currency out in the field.
Yes, sir. And then all the other stuff that you said, like getting voluntold to do things, you knew what was coming up before you even did it. The guys that argued about and complained about being voluntold, you shouldn't have been standing there because you knew it was going to happen. Like if you had any common sense, you knew what was coming before it got there. So there's not much that I didn't love about what it was that I was doing,
Right.
But the only thing that I do have to tell you that you didn't say that I wouldn't want to be a part of again is the loss.
Yeah.
Not seeing a brother or sister come home. That's the
That's
only
true.
part that I don't want to be a part of again.
Yeah. No, and you hit the. I mean, yeah, some good stuff, man. Because I hated duty Firewatch, especially the shit shift.
Yeah.
It was that one was brutal. What once I picked up staff NCO, E6 and above, and then I became an officer. I hated that. Hey, sorry, dude. I mean, hey, let's flip for it.
Yep.
But so what I would do is, hey, at 2000, 8 o'clock at night, I was like, hey, go hit the wreck. I'll come and get you, whenever. So whether he did or not, obviously, as phones were getting better and better. I retired in 2014. So, social media. But I was like, hey, go hit the rack. I'll come get you whenever I'm tired. So I'll go get them, 1 o'clock, 1:30. I'll try to stay up. So by that time, little Johnny should have had at least 5 solid hours of sleep. Whether he chose to, goof off and whatever the case, not my fault, bro.
That's right.
So, hey, 2 o'clock come around, wake me up at, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Because the last thing I want to be, even as I don't want to be a hitting the rack when Sergeant Major walked in at 05:30, even as an officer, because obviously, I don't want to fuck over that kid that bad. And two is that, it doesn't look good. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want that looking down at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And plus, I just didn't, even as a one, I didn't need to hear Sergeant Major shit anyway. Right. I was like, dude,
didn't need the questions.
Mind your own fucking business, So as you were trying to transition out of the service and finding your purpose beyond the military, was it hard for you to transition between service into civilian life?
It was the worst, because literally coming off the plane, what we got asked was, do you want to go in that line and go do your VA stuff and be here for the next 3 days, or do you want to go home? Like, where are you going? I'm going to hell home. Like, I didn't have any of the stuff. I didn't understand any of the stuff. All I was doing was drinking. That's all I was doing. So the transition was shit. And then moving into the railroad was I felt lost because I didn't know where else to go. And it was such a productive place to go. I felt honored once I got there. And once I got involved and started working on the railroad, because it's a meaningful place and there's such good camaraderie there through the individuals that I met. I felt at home once I got there, but I was lost until I got there. But it was a great place to be.
A lot of us, man, I was talking about this, I think it was yesterday, is that we struggle with purpose.
Yeah.
Because for all intents and purpose, doesn't matter the branch to some degree. And now I kind of I agree with this other guys when I was working in corporate. You guys, well, you guys are indoctrinated. I'm like, whatever, bitch. You're just jealous because you couldn't be part of the club. But for all intents and purposes, yes. Let's say we are, and whatever. However, who else can claim that they were part of something bigger than themselves? Doesn't matter the branch. You had your brother and sisters to your left and right. Hey, I got your 6. If we're in this shit, we're if it's gonna suck, we're gonna suck with enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? Man. It's like embracing the suck, so to speak.
Yep.
Now you're out, and it's like, hey, what am I? Before I used to associate, Marines. We're a basic rifleman. Where everybody's a basic infantryman. It doesn't that now. What do I do? You kind of lost. So I think that the connection and helping service members. I can't speak. Obviously, I'm a little bit out of tune how things have changed with transition assistance programs. But from what I hear, we're still the DoD is still missing the mark tremendously. So, so there is that gap. And you kind of, you highlighted on it. So when you were back in, I guess when you fell into the railroad and Amtrak, it's like, okay, we're all like-minded individuals. I got purpose, now, and then we all have a mission and an end state. Hey,
Yep.
Putting locomotives out on the road, basically, hey, readiness, mission, you know what I'm saying?
Union. It was a union. So
Right.
you had the togetherness, you had, lodges, you had all that different kind of stuff. So anywhere you went up and down the Northeast corridor, I knew somebody. I felt at home. I had a place to go. I had somebody to call, hey, brother. It was the same thing because we were part of the Teamsters Brotherhood, so it was great. That's the way they made you feel. There was a lot of soldiers, military personnel that got picked up by the railroad in those years.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine too. He retired Master Sergeant. Him and we deployed together. We did some really cool things. Richard Valencia, as a matter of fact, and he did work after trying the trucking thing for a while. And this guy we used to do. He was an optics tech for the military. Cool dude. I mean, and one hell of a mechanic. And then he fell on the railroad. And I mean, even to this day, he's still there in California. And I mean, and the dude loves it. So I guess my point, and from what you just said, as you left the military and your transition, because this is a question I was going to, how you overcome it is, you found that purpose, through the union, and basically being brought into the fold, so to speak. Yeah. Whereas hey, hey, you're back in under this umbrella now. It may not be this one, but it's something similar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Pancho, talking about that brings me to a couple of the organizations that you mentioned that I'm a part of, right. Like the DAV, the American Legion, the VFW, those kinds of organizations that are out there. They give you the same feel of camaraderie.
Yes.
Because they bring us together. And most of the military generation of my age and younger literally don't understand how important those organizations are to not only our legislation, but our benefits and our future. If they don't get more involved in those organizations, they are going to go away. And we're going to lose our biggest advocates for the things that we need and our families need. But that's why Veteran BizConnect is so important as well. One of the other organizations that, as you can see on the screen, I'm the National Director of Veteran Affairs for Veteran BizConnect, because I care and I want to make a difference for our fellow veterans, Pacho. And the other organization, I'm wearing the hat. I'm a Mason. I'm the co-director for the Help for Heroes program up here in Pennsylvania. And we do constantly give back to the active duty PA Guard and AGR components up here inside the state of Pennsylvania. Moms to be, we do baby showers. We help take care of them for the first year. And do all kinds of stuff that we can give back from our pockets to the service members.
And that, when you're part of all these organizations, you and me have had several conversations.
Yes.
People advocate, people participate here and there, and I think you would agree is that everybody's lane are very. This when it comes to veteran services, but it doesn't seem, again, this is just me from the outside looking in, like nobody does this, like, hey, you know what? I might not be able to help you with this. Let's go over here and let me connect you with this, where we're kind of really closing the loop instead of just being, hey, no, not my lane. This is what I do, bro. And, to me, that's what seems, the disconnect with a lot of some of these organizations. What's your thoughts on that, Tom?
My feeling on that, Pacho, is that, yes, I completely agree with you. There's so many veteran service organizations out there that try to be what I hear them call themselves one-stop shops, rather than staying focused on their mission and saying,
Right.
hey, listen, I specialize in this. When we went to basic training, we were given an MOS or a designation, whichever it is in which branch. And you specialized in that. Pacho, if you were in the field operations, you didn't come over to my mechanic bay and try to fix the LMTV that you were just riding in. No, that's my job, not your job. You didn't come over and touch my 50 cal because you were over there working on the radios. Like that, you stay in your lane.
Right.
I feel that a lot of these veteran service organizations, not meaning the VFW, not meaning the American Legion, not meaning the VAV, but these other ones that are out there claiming to help veterans need to figure out and stay in their lane. If you're working with homeless, stay with the homeless. Find another organization that specializes in clothes. Find another organization that specializes in the food. Find another organization that specializes in the benefits, and collaborate together. Stop trying to do it all yourself, because that's how people are getting lost. And there's so much information out there that it's information overload. And us as the veteran, we don't know who to turn to because everybody says they do everything.
Right. One thing that I've seen, and this is just a kind of like a point of contention for me with some organization, and even some of our brothers and sisters kind of partake on these, where, hey, if you didn't get 100%, let us help you, and we won't charge you. And they end up, it'll actually cost you a percentage of your VA benefits or this, but see our doctors and that. A lot of stuff that I do. I mean, again, you and I had us three, because I'm throwing Darwin in. We talked a lot about this.
Yes.
Is that, why should you charge, your fellow brothers and sisters for them to, I get it. It's a business, it's a business. Find another fucking business, help your brothers and sisters. There's a lot of us, and even people around our age and the older generation are not very computer savvy. So, I've actually walked some vets. Hey, look, let me show you. Let me open your account. That's the way we should be working together, not trying to, charge one another, with these services. I know, and I know you do a lot of advocacy as well. But how does Veterans Disconnect, aside from everybody else, the platform that we were talking about, tell me a little bit, and what are we trying to achieve with that?
Well, Veteran BizConnect is just one avenue of things that I do. That is bringing veteran-owned businesses and veteran service organizations together to be able to create an economic synergistic network referral system to create the economy that we're looking for ourselves, and to where we don't have to be dependent upon the governmental economy. Because if I'm referring you business and you're referring me business, we're getting economy from each other. So if we have enough people involved in doing that, we're creating our own economy that we don't have to be subservient to what's going on out there inside the government. Make sense?
No, I think it makes 100% sense, because a lot of times, I think Darwin and I were talking, like, I've joined some of these other groups, and I'm very passionate when it comes to this. Hey, look, if you're going to call it a veteran organization, hey, it's kind of like, I think is it Abraham Lincoln's address, the government for the people, by the people. It's for veterans, by veterans. Hey, all those who are affiliated, whether, hey, you're a sister, you're a husband, you're a wife, whatever, hey, have an affiliate or an auxiliary, whatever organization. But this right here is where we, hook each other up and give each other business, and whatever else the case. And I think it's a great idea. I know I'm a member of it, and you got, as a matter of fact, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen here in this month. You guys having a meeting of the minds, so to speak.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So with Veteran BizConnect, like you said, we have a national directory where people, veteran-owned businesses can go on there and put themselves on that directory. So anybody looking for a veteran-owned business can find you wherever it is that you're looking for, or a veteran service organization can put themselves on there as well. So what Pacho is talking about is coming up in March. I have 17 or 18 military minds coming together, which we're calling like a military mastermind, that we're coming together to talk about these things that Pancho and I are discussing right now on the field op. Is veteran service organizations, the direction of trying to fix that and make it better, working down towards veteran benefits and staying our lanes and partnering with each other to be able to help more people, make more veterans, make an actual impact, change the way veteran benefits and veteran service organizations are getting to the veterans, and the veterans are receiving those actual resources, and then up and down the East Coast, and then move it across the nation together.
That is on LinkedIn, I've been part of, several other ones, and it just, what I see is, all right, this is what I do, and it's like, no, hey, don't pitch anything. It's like, wait, well, how else are we supposed to generate? And, you got to know what I do, and if it makes sense. So let's get together, let's talk about it, and see how is it that I can either serve you or help me out, in the sense that I'm, at the end of the day, we're all just squirrels trying to get our nuts, so to speak. And we all got to make income, and depending on the industry that we're in, obviously, at least hear me out. It's not a pitch. It's just, if it makes sense at the end, then let's discuss it further.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to give a little background of why we're doing this, is really my story, is why I'm so passionate about this, Pacho. Being a veteran, getting done. And then in 2015, I got injured. I got injured out on the railroad, and it put me in bed. I became housebound / bedridden for the next 7 years. It was 3 weeks before I proposed to my wife, Lindsay, who's been literally a God-sent angel on earth for me. Because if it wasn't for her and the grace of God, I wouldn't be here. In those 7 years, I'm a 2-time suicide survivor and a former alcoholic. I went down those dark paths that everybody does. Not everybody, but a lot of us veterans wind up getting lost and not knowing where to turn, not knowing where to go. And then when I got hurt and injured, everything spiraled out of control. I wound up in bed, and then in 2018, my wife gave birth to our bundle of joy, Thomas Long Jr., and changed everything. But I missed the first 4 years of his life, Pacho, laying in that bed, wallowing in my sorrow, being all injured and broken and damaged. And the only time I really got out of bed was to go to another viewing for another soldier, and it just made things worse over those years. And then in 2022, the VA brought me in and said, "You're dying." I said, "What are you talking about? I feel fine." They said, "Your liver's fatty." I said, "There ain't nothing wrong with my liver. I quit drinking in 2017. They said, "All right, we're sending you to a specialist in June." So I was in denial until June, went in, seen the specialist. He said, "Listen, Mr. Long, your blood pressure is 230 over 195. Your triglycerides and cholesterol are well over 750 each. And your liver's fatty, your enzymes are through the roof, and you're 348 pounds. You're obese. Jesus. And if you don't do something in the next 6 to 8 months to change your sedentary lifestyle, you're going to die within the next 6 years and leave your son on this earth before he's 10. Plus, we're filling you full of 31 pharmaceuticals a day, 10 trigger point injections a week, 4 ketamine infusions a month, 10 epidurals a year." It's like, I was a guinea pig for them with everything that they were doing. So it was killing me. And Pacho, what I did is I found that I needed to take my life in my own control. And what I did is I focused on my gut health. And when I focused on that gut health, that's our second brain. That's where our neurotransmitters are. That helped me with my PTSD, my anxiety, my depression, my suicidal thoughts, my anger issues. Didn't get rid of any of it. Didn't go away. But I was able to understand it and make it manageable with my wife to where I wasn't as bad off as I was. So I sat there. I got better. The side effect of getting your gut healthy, I lost more than 150 plus pounds, Pacho.
Wow.
Yes. In a year, from June of 2022 to June of 2023, I went down to 193 pounds. So
That's crazy,
you
man.
you can do it on your own. You don't need the Ozempic. You don't need the GLP-1 factors out there that they're trying to shove down our throats. And
Yeah.
Hollywood is glorifying and all of those things. You can do this another way without being subservient to pharmaceuticals and surgical intervention to take your life back. And that's why I'm so passionate about bringing these veteran service organizations together, creating that economic synergy, getting the people to understand and the veterans out there to know that we don't need to be dependent upon them. We just need to get to where we can take care of our own, take care of ourselves, and move forward.
We have to, I think I'm not within our age frame and younger, we're getting a little bit more conscious as to what we're putting in our bodies. Case in point, obviously, I get it that, a lot of us have to be really careful when we're walking that line, because with the VA, unfortunately, they don't see it that way. Because a lot of people, what a lot of people don't know is that people who work at the VA, some are vets, a lot of them are not.
Right.
And
correct.
we're concerned about, it's much easier to throw pills and, maintain and meds and just maintain this zombie, so to speak. That is much, much easier to manage rather than getting to the root of the problem and really finding, we may have to, endure a veteran kind of, listen to their shit, for lack of better words, like, hey, they're, maybe they have ideations, whatever, all those things. But it's just much easier to just medication and messing up their livers, which again, although we're fixing one problem, on the other hand, we're creating another one.
Yeah.
Now side effects of liver. And when you read some of the shit that I was taking, like mirtazapine, dude,
so bad,
bro. The lady told me, "Oh, you might be." It was an RN. I think she was a vet too. She was in the Navy, and she goes, "Hey, you might be a little hungry." Bullshit.
Yeah.
I've never been that hungry in my life. I took it for one day, and for like 2 to 3 days, I wanted to eat the world. It's like nothing satisfied me, and I was like, "There's no way. I'd rather deal with the ideations and everything else than become a food blister and everything else that comes with the issues." So it's like, again, to the point, is like we're a lot more conscious, and although we still take the meds, so to speak, from the VA, I use them and whatever the case, but unfortunately, the VA system is designed now. Oh, well, if he or she says no, okay, you're refusing treatment, let me hook you up and now take away your disability,
right?
Because you're not taking meds. And it's like, no, wait a minute, I've told you 1,000 fucking times that, I'm falling asleep at work, I'm eating everything, and you're not listening to me. You're just giving me either a bigger dosage or giving me even something worse,
Right. Well, and see, it's not particularly just the person; it's the way that they're trained. It's the things that they're given and the things that they're told and the directions that they have to follow, and the memos that come out. If you hear this, you do that. If they do this, you give them this. If they do that, you take this away. Those kinds of directions, not understanding, and they're told that you're not here to make a decision on your merit. You're here to follow what's put in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so, and that's why there's a lot of, again, my show used I used to be sponsored by the VA a couple of years ago, and it was a great partnership. And hey, look, the system is not perfect. I mean, it's the only one we got, and I think we should all, as a unit, make it better and just keep advocating, keep writing your congressman. Be part of the solution. Don't just bitch and moan about it. Like they say, hey, Marine ain't happy if he ain't bitching.
Yeah.
But that can only get you so far. So, hey, got it. It's broken. How can we advocate to make it better? Work with the legislators to have, a much better product out there for us, right?
Right. Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And don't take me wrong. I'm not trying to bash the system. I'm
No,
just
yeah,
saying the
no.
difference between, somebody sitting there doing something and listening to your shit, and how that they get treated by the VA and pushed to do what they do. I've even met some people that have some great hearts, and they're like, "Listen, Mr. Long, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but this is what you need to do. But we're told not to tell you that." So like that's the directions that they get. Yes, it's a system. Yes, is it perfect? No. But you and I aren't perfect either.
Ooh,
And
that's a
like,
good one.
yep. And like you said, we got to come together as a unit and try to fix it together from the outside looking in and them from the inside looking out. We have a different perspective than those people that work there and what we need to do. And we need to be able to play the game as well as they do also when we're going for it though, Pacho.
Yeah, no,
So,
100%.
yeah.
So let me ask you this, man. As we look at, I guess the road ahead, what's next? What's next for Tom? What big projects or initiatives you guys are working on now?
Right. So one of the biggest things that I'm working on right now is the Army 250th birthday being celebrated up here in Philadelphia on the land where it was started. Then next year will be the America 250th right here in Philadelphia where the nation was born. Like, how better of a place? And then you know what happens in between those? Right here, October, you have the Navy homecoming 250 and the Marines birthday right here. Yeah, right where they broke ground last year for the new Hung Tavern right here in Philadelphia, brother, where the Marines were born.
That's right.
Yes.
They're breaking ground on an actual on Ton Taverns. So
yeah, I was there.
I saw a lot of the stuff on I caught it on social media and I saw a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, even the Stars and Stripes was just talking about the Army, about the Marine Corps. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, going on to celebrate us. But what about for Veterans Disconnect? I know we got the big thing coming up on March 17th, right?
Yep, absolutely. We got that coming up. I'm getting all those people together. Where there'll be people from New Jersey, Maryland, Houston, Texas, Kentucky, all zooming in from Florida, all over the place. That'll be zooming in, and then we'll have people coming in that are actually flying in from Florida, Pennsylvania, driving in from North Carolina, people from all over Georgia. Be getting together and advocating for veterans, in that mastermind. And then what we're doing, one of our biggest initiatives here this year, Pacho, is Veteran Biz Connect. Is we're trying to get out there to reach 100 chapters is what we want. That's our goal this year, to have 100 chapters of veteran-owned businesses meeting and correlating together to create that veteran economic synergy across this nation, to show them that one of the largest communities in this nation can come together and make a difference for each other, and then show the rest of the nation how it's done.
That's so awesome, dude. I can't wait. I'll have to zoom in because I had to change the schedule. My daughter, shout out to her if she's listening to the show. She'll be having surgery on that day. So, but that's another time. Maybe I'll film her while she's coming out of her all that stuff when they put her under and stuff.
Yeah.
So, hey, let me ask you some final thoughts. I mean, your journey obviously proved that service doesn't end after after you hang up that uniform, so to speak. But what can you tell our listeners about, and so that they understand our civilian counterparts, so they understand veterans and their transition process, and how can they help us as we're getting out?
Well, in the transition phase, that's difficult because there's so many different ways that people can step in. When a veteran comes to you and says, "I'm looking for a job," don't look down on them. Ask them, what are you looking for? Where do you want to be? What do you want to do? What difference do you want to make? Because we're looking for a purpose. Most of the veterans that I run into, Pacho, that were down the path that I was, had no purpose, no focus, no drive, no mission. If we can come together and give each other a mission, that'll change the trajectory of each and every soldier. Sorry, military personnel. I don't want everybody thinking I'm only talking about the Army. I know you Marines and the Air Force out there get real sensitive about that shit. Oh, sorry, forgot about the squids too. Darren will get all pissed off. Yeah, absolutely. So get out there, do those things, and just understand that we want to be there to be a part of the community, be a part of the civilian world. Not be separated, not be isolated, not be criticized for what it was that we did for this great nation and that blank check that we signed, as Darwin always 100%. Talks about it. But we want to be part of everything that's going on and make the communities better. So
that's awesome, dude. Hey, so I threw on right here some of the links. I posted them right here during the show. I also threw in your LinkedIn as well, so people can connect with you. But where else can people find you if they want to hear about some of the amazing things that the several organizations that you support? Where else can people find you, bro?
I mean, my email address is tlong@veteranbizconnect.com. Shoot me an email. Connect with me that way. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Find me on the Founders Network. These are all different things that I do on a daily basis that I can get out there. I can connect with you. I can connect you with other people. I can add value to you and what it is that you do. I'm not just here to take care of myself. The Lord graced me with being able to make it through what it is that I did. And I give all glory to God that I'm able to have that servant mentality to be able to help more than just myself and just the veteran community. I'm here to want to add value to anybody and everybody that's looking to raise themselves up. Because, Pacho, not only are we the guys standing on top of that wooden wall, wanting to put down a hand and pull up our battle buddies, which is what we have to do for every one of our fellow veterans, but we have to do it for our community too. We're all brothers and sisters, not just the veterans. We're all brothers and sisters, and we have to be looking out for one another. And that's where I want to add value to each and every person that is here watching your show and wants to be connected.
Damn. Well, shit. I mean, on that note, I got nothing. I mean, I'm not even going to touch that, man. Tom, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for your service, brother. We'll definitely bring you back, because I think this is going to be an ongoing and continuing conversation, brother. So, but I'll be seeing you around. And everybody, if you want to connect with Tom, all the links are right there. Hit him up, brother.
Roger that. God bless. Thank you so much, Pacho. Oorah, get some, brother.
Oorah, get some. Man, holy shit. Did we just become best friends? I'm just saying, this is a really, really good conversation. So, if you are a veteran needs support, check out the Help Our Heroes program and all the incredible resources out there. Hit up Tom. Ask questions. It's all about connecting, finding your purpose, engaging in these things, right? That and the things that we talk about in this show, and the amazing individuals that we bring on the show. There's a bunch of resources out there that we can get you. So huge shout out to Tom. Thanks for being here and for everything that you do. And to you, the listener, remember, the mission isn't over. It just changes, right? So stay strong, stay connected, and we'll see you next time. So with that being said, we're going to go to Index, Aistamas, Daisuki, signing off from the field up. Ara, get some. All right, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.